and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome everybody to the City of Bel Air Beach Board of Adjustment meeting for June 13, 2024. Will you please rise for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Would you please call the roll?
Carol Conry,
Present.
David Gardella,
Here.
Tony Gatliff,
Here.
Mark Mariano,
Here.
Jane Mason Goldman,
Here.
Mike Kelly,
Here.
City Manager Kyle Riefler.
Here. Okay, at this point, I'd like to ask folks for a motion to approve the minutes of Wednesday, December 13, 2023, which is our last Board of Adjustment meeting. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Are there any changes, additions, deletions to the minutes? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 6-0.
Who was the second? Thank you.
If anybody's going to be speaking tonight, other than the board members here, would you please rise and be sworn in by our city clerk so that you can give testimony this evening?
Do you solemnly declare or affirm that the testimony you are about to give in these proceedings is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. We have one variance that we have to adjudicate tonight. For the benefit of the applicant and his representative, I'll go over the rules of what we're going to do and the procedures, because we're going to invite you to come up and give testimony and any information that's important to this case. I will initially read the variance request, and then the staff report will be made by our city manager. Then we will ask you as the applicant to come up and make a statement at the podium, and then we will have discussion amongst the board and with you as the applicant regarding the entire variance. At that point, it's the burden of the board to go ahead and vote on a series of 6 criteria questions that you had in the application and that we will review one at a time. In order for the variance to pass, all 6 criteria questions must get an affirmative answer. Any of the 6 gets a no vote, the variance will be rejected. We will take our time, we'll explain everything to you, and after the criteria, the board will make a motion, and we'll also have a second, and we'll have a roll call vote on your variance. Pretty simple procedure, but we'll go ahead and get started on it. At this point, this is variance request 24-01, and the applicant is asking for a variance to City Code 94.220 to install a water feature within the front setback. Kyle, if you'd like to go ahead and make our staff report and explain it to our board members, we appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Kyle Riefler, City Manager for Bel Air Beach. This is covering the report given to us by Larry Flutie, our city contract engineer. The section of code is the Chapter 94 zoning code, which is 94-220, which establishes the minimum living area setbacks. If you're familiar with the minimum living area setbacks, all front setbacks within every parcel of Bel Air Beach is 25 feet. And after reviewing the plans that were submitted, Larry Flutie established that the setback encroachment needed to have this fountain is 4 feet. So it is a measurement from 21 feet back from the property line.
So we have a 4-foot encroachment of a structure. By definition in our city code, this water feature is a structure.
That's correct. By the definition, the engineer felt that because it was a vertical, not easily movable, what you would call portable structure. It is a permanent structure, and it required wiring to be done by an electrician.
So at some point, the city code enforcement officer discovered this violation and pointed it out to the homeowner or the contractor, is that correct?
Yes, I think it was reported to the code officer that someone felt that work was being done without a permit, and he investigated and, found the structure, called me for advice, and we, from there, looked at it, said, yes, we believe this needs a permit. They applied for a permit. Larry Flutie denied the permit for the encroachment of the front setback, and that's where we're at.
Okay. Any questions of Kyle from the board?
For clarification's sake, if a water feature like this with the stones, boulders, and all was built,
David, turn on your microphone, I'll think
was built in, let's say, someone's island of their driveway. Okay, like this gentleman has an island driveway, circle driveway. And if they wanted to build a water feature like this in the island, let's say, away from the structure, would that need a permit?
If it was the same design, we would define it as a structure, so yes, it would be a structure in the front setback.
And is these boulders going up as high as the front stoop of where the front door is? Is it going up that whole wall? Or just to where the boulders are now?
I don't believe it's that tall. No, it's as is, it's complete.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the complete structure.
And the circle driveway is still going to be there in
Yes,
front of the
yeah.
new pond or new feature? Thank you.
Kyle, were there any emails or letters from any neighbors?
No, I have not received any comments.
So this is actually butting right up against the front part of the house, where the setback line presumably is very close to that, and the encroachment is coming out street side of the building.
In front of the building.
And it's basically, I can't say it's attached to it, but it is a permanent structure.
Yes, it is a structure by definition because it has a vertical component. And it's not a portable structure. That's defined differently.
For the board's sake, we've had these kind of variances in the past. Some of them are related to spas, portable spas. The building department at the county takes the position, and we agree with it, that if these spas, which in many cases have a gazebo top, in essence making it look like a small building or a small room, that these are considered portable as long as there's just a plug-in for electricity. If they're hardwired, the attitude of the building department, and we agree, is that this is permanent. It's not removable. It is removable from the standpoint of cutting it, but it's considered tied into the building as long as the electric is hardwired. This is hardwired.
This structure abuts the house, it is between the house and the driveway, correct?
Yes, it's between the house and the driveway, and I don't believe it makes actual contact with the house.
Any other questions before we ask the applicant to come to the podium?
Thank you.
Gentlemen, whoever wants to make the statement on behalf of the owner, please come forward. Give us your name and
Hi, I'm Jerry Rickard. I own Bel Air Property Maintenance and Landscaping. I was the contractor on the job.
okay. And so you were the one that was surprised by the officer where
Yes, sir.
your employees were?
Yes, sir.
Welcome to Bel Air Beach. Now here's our law.
Yes, sir. There is no concrete that binds the boulders together.
Okay.
They can be taken apart at any given time and moved. If Dr. Cusimano does want to move, he can take them and he can have them moved to wherever he wants to go. There's a pond liner, so it's a concealed sealed unit. We looked up permits beforehand because we've seen different water features within the community. see, there's some that I pulled up here that there wasn't any permits pulled. So we considered it a landscape modification because there's no concrete binding it, and we were misled to understand that it was considered a structure in Bel Air Beach.
Misled by who?
My own thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been in the trade for 26 years. We've never had to pull permits for a water feature that's contained. And if you can see here, there's other that are considered structures within Bel Air Beach that have concrete, that are considered a structure that can't be moved, that never got permits.
What we're doing tonight is resting on the merits of this particular property.
Yes, sir.
We as a board make recommendations to our council. We adjudicate on behalf of the city, but what happened in the past is in the past.
Okay.
It's no precedent per se that takes place, but we appreciate the fact you did some research and you looked around it.
Yes, sir.
It tells us as a city that we have to decide going forward, even after your case, if all these upcoming water features or masonry features, whether or not they have electricity or not, need to be considered as structural for our future, whether or not they all need permits going forward.
Yep. And it is not hardwired, it is a plug-in, so it does have a pump that plugs into a receptacle. So it's not hardwired fixed into a receptacle as far as that goes.
Is the receptacle within the setback?
No, sir.
But it's not like we're,
Yeah, it's beyond the setback.
It's within, it's right, it's against the.
It's against the wall,
It's against the house, so
it's against the house, so it's out of the setback.
Out of the setback.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Guzman, you're welcome to come join in.
No, sorry.
That's okay. We appreciate all the information both you want to give us.
Again,
Pull
I
that
just.
microphone down a little bit there,
Sorry,
sir.
yeah, sure. So, yeah, I wasn't familiar with that. Again, we hired him, and my understanding was, unfortunately, we didn't realize that the way it was built was going into, that the setback in that area. Again, unfortunately, and I apologize, misunderstood, again, against the house, and then it came down to the front. And then I guess the rock, I think, is like a foot and a half into it, and then there's a bin that the water goes into that's lined and pumped out, and I think that's 2 feet too, and I think that's also considered part of the 4 feet, whereas, it's the rock when it goes in like a foot and a half to 2 feet, and then there's a ditch there that just the water goes into. That's only about, I don't know, how deep is that?
18 inches.
18 inches, yeah. So again, I apologize, for this, I'll learn my lesson.
We're not here to spank you tonight. Question for the applicant. As a contractor, did you provide this sheet to us as a photograph with a dimension of 19.37 feet? And I'm not sure what that means. I don't know if it comes up on the, it's kind of scrolling back now. Get close, Kyle. That one. That one. We don't know what the purpose of that 19.37 feet is as it relates to the fountain location.
Yeah, that is from where the setback starts to where it ends. It was just pretty much, they wanted the measurements of the property within the packet per scale. So that's just a paper that we added into it. That shows the setback.
The red line being the setback line probably.
Yes, sir.
Everybody see that one? Okay.
With the feature and T of pedestrian, that it would be a
No, ma'am.
hazard? No. And could it be made smaller instead of where it is now? Could it come back, I mean, still have the water feature, but would be within the setback? Is that possible?
Within the aqua blocks to hold the water, so the pump doesn't dry up, they need a certain gallon size for the pump and everything.
one of the questions you had to ask was whether or not this is a minimum variance. And in essence, you've answered that by saying the water feature is tucked as close to the house as possible.
Yes, sir.
So with the size of the water feature and the location, you're only encroaching into the minimum amount of area of our 25-foot setback.
Yes, sir.
And we'll vote on that here shortly. That answers Carol's question.
The gentleman referenced that you could, in the future, if you wanted to move rocks, would it be your intention to move rocks in the future and expand it, or?
No, there wouldn't be no expanding. No. It's as big as it's gonna get, and, you know, that's as much as the pump can handle. So that's pretty much how it was designed and built.
Just before we vote, the last thing I want to mention is that, again, on the application, are two buzzwords, two buzz phrases that we review here is whether or not this property had any special conditions or unique circumstances that dictated why you needed to get a variance. Based on the location where you've chosen to put the water feature, you really didn't have any other choice. I mean, a special condition in essence is established, but that's one of the important things that we look at. And, you know, is there a hardship? Not necessarily. The hardship is that where you want to put it comes into our 25-foot front setback. And that's the board's discretion to decide that tonight.
Yes, sir.
Kyle, get any more information? Questions? Board? David, you good? Mark, okay? Yeah, go ahead. Okay. Okay, at this time I'll ask Vice Chairman Jane Goldman if she'd go ahead and start reading our criteria questions that we will vote on one at a time. Gentlemen, you're welcome to stand at the podium or sit down. It's up to you.
You can relax.
Okay, thank you.
You're good.
I'm a little bit of a tickle, so if I have to stop, I'll raise my hand, okay? All right, so for our purposes today, we have to go over each one of these questions and respond, and then we'll weigh in. So on question number one, have you demonstrated that special conditions or unique circumstances exist which are peculiar to the land, structure, or building involved, and which are not applicable to other similar structures or buildings in the same zoning district? Yes means it's okay, no means it's denied.
Ms. Conry,
No?
Mr. Gardella,
Yes.
Mr. Gatliff,
Yes.
Mr. Mariano,
Yes.
Ms. Goldman,
Yes.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
So that's 1 no and 5 yes.
Thank you.
Criteria number two, have you demonstrated that the variance requested is the minimum variance that will make possible the reasonable use of the land, building, or structure? Yes means it's approved, no means it's denied.
Ms. Conry,
Yes?
Mr. Gardella,
Yes.
Mr. Gatliff,
Yes.
Mr. Mariano,
Yes.
Ms. Goldman,
Yes.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
6 yes.
Criteria three, have you demonstrated that granting the variance requested will not confer on the applicant any special privilege that is denied by this chapter? Variance approved, yes. Variance denied, no.
Ms. Conry,
Yes?
Mr. Gardella,
Yes.
Mr. Gatliff,
Yes.
Mr. Mariano,
Yes.
Ms. Goldman,
Yes.
and Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
6 yes.
Criteria four, have you demonstrated that the variance requested does not change the use of the property from the use characteristics mandated for districts 1 and 2 in sections 30-51 and 94-252 in Article 4, Division 3 of this chapter? Yes, a variance approved, no variance denied.
Ms. Conry,
Yes?
Mr. Gardella,
Yes.
Mr. Gatliff,
Yes.
Mr. Mariano,
Yes.
Ms. Goldman,
Yes.
and Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
6 yes.
Number 5 will be complied fully with additional conditions and safeguards which the Board of Adjustment may prescribe, including but not limited to reasonable time limits within which the action, if there is one, one for which a variance is required shall commence and/or be completed.
Ms. Conry,
Yes?
Mr. Gardella,
Yes.
Mr. Gatliff,
Yes.
Mr. Mariano,
Yes.
Ms. Goldman,
Yes.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
6 yes.
Criteria 6, have you demonstrated that the variance requested does not violate any provision and requirements set forth in Chapter 62 and Chapter 74 of the City Code? Yes, the variance is approved. No, the variance is denied.
Ms. Conry,
Yes?
Mr. Gardella,
Yes.
Mr. Gatliff,
Yes.
Mr. Mariano,
Yes.
Ms. Goldman,
Yes.
and Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
6 yes.
And I move that we approve the variance.
Second.
Would you go ahead and call the roll, Renee?
Ms. Conry,
Yes?
Mr. Gardella,
Yes.
Mr. Gatliff,
Yes.
Mr. Mariano,
Yes.
Ms. Goldman,
Yes.
and Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Unanimous, 6 yes.
Gentlemen, your variance is approved. The city's in agreement with what you intend to complete. We're sure that you want to move forward on this as soon as possible because, as you know, as a contractor, sir, you're going to have to go up to the county and it's going to take a while to get that permit.
Yes, sir.
But Kyle will have to give you the approval at the city level, and then you can go up to Clearwater to apply for your actual variance. Apply for your permit. Kyle, I don't know whether or not they have a short version of a permit process up there like they do when you move air conditioners or condensers. I don't know when it comes to landscaping how long it takes to go through the review process. That's the longest part of the whole thing. As you know, you have to review, you have to apply online. We're good. Any other questions tonight? Any other information? I know Renee has informed the board that Mark Beam has resigned, so there is an opening for a person on this board of 7. I know Jerry Wazawati, our first alternate, is very anxious, if I'm correct, Kyle, to fill in, apply.
I believe he is, yes.
I'm sorry?
I believe, yes, he wants to be a full-time board member.
Okay, so that will still leave us with 2 openings. Renee, if it turns out the council meeting, we have more than 2 applications for this, all the better to help us support a full board of 7 at our regular meetings. If there's no further business, I'll entertain a motion to
Let's go.
adjourn. To adjourn. The word is what? Adjourn. Is there a motion?
I made a motion to adjourn.
Here we go.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.